You're welcome to another segment of this show, and it's still on the United Kingdom. Facts that has to do with how people look at England's life generally here in the United Kingdom. You know, some African, especially Nigeria, my country where I come from, we are in the new year now, 2023, and many people would like to relocate from their country, thinking that coming to other countries like the United Kingdom will give them a better life, a better future for themselves and for their children. Okay, you've been here for quite a long time now, you know. You wanted to like, let's have this picture. Yeah, let's have this picture of what's life, how life is here in England.
Life is okay, but it's getting increasingly more difficult as the years go on. I think especially since COVID and with everything that's been happening in the world, we've seen so many price increases in food, petrol, gas, electric, mortgage rates have increased, and it's making it very, very difficult for the majority of people to survive, especially for the elderly as well that live on a pension. You know, it's a very small pension to cover all the costs of everything. Life is hard now in England. Things have changed. I work in a school with parents and families that come from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Eastern Europe, all over the world. And they, I have quite close contact with them, and now they are saying just how difficult life in the UK is. To get a doctor's appointment, it's more or less impossible now. I had my daughter's mother-in-law, she was very poorly the other night. We had to wait 7 hours for an ambulance.
Oh, that's quite a long time.
Is a crisis really, and it should have been. It was an emergency. It was an emergency. So at the moment, life is quite bleak, I would say. It's not. People think, you know, like Dick Whittington. When you come to London, it's paved with gold. The streets are paved with gold. Everything is wonderful. And from probably living in Ghana or Nigeria or any other African country or any other, you know, Asian country, life does seem that way because we are very fortunate. We have the National Health Service, we have free education. So compared to a lot of countries, we are very, very fortunate. But times are changing now, and it's just not like it was. So for people to come, I would say, think very carefully.
Oh, that's quite a strong one.
Yeah.
Should think very carefully.
Because if you come here, you need to have a very good job with a good salary. You need to have money in the bank. You need to have savings. Because the price of houses where I live in where I work in East London, a 2-bedroom house is the price to rent. That's not to buy it, that's to rent it, is anything from £1,200 to £1,500 a month. That's without any gas, electricity, without any bills, without any food. 3-bedroom houses are £1,700, £1,800 a month. So as you can see, you need 2 people working. It's impossible for one person for the salary to pay for, you know, the rent. Mortgage rates have gone up now, so even people with good jobs with mortgages are struggling because the increase in the mortgage rate, they're not affording to make the payments for the mortgages. So it's just really so difficult.
Well, thinking about having a better life outside African country, for example, we're looking at education sector, we're looking at the health sector, we're looking on some housing, of course, then a good job. When one finished is through with his or her first degree or postgraduate, and the person is certain that he will get a good job from the government or any other private organization, is there hope
Well, even
of
if
having
you've
a
got
good job? I haven't gone to school.
well, even if you have got a good job and a good education and you've been to university, jobs are not so easy to find here now. You know, it's not guaranteed that when you finish university you will walk into a job. It's just not that easy, no. Because there are so many. We're a little tiny island, and as nice as it is to have everybody to come over and meet different cultures, different people, we're only a very small island, and we just can't accommodate everybody to come here. It's impossible. And I think if you come, don't come and think that you can just come, not work, go on benefits. It just doesn't happen now.
Or like what is observed, like what is experienced in African countries, when the youth, the children, finish the university, they finish the school, and it's very, very difficult to get a job. Some of them have master degrees, even have PhDs, you know, but it's very difficult to get a good job. So with these experiences in Africa, they think with those qualifications, once they relocate from the country to other parts of the country, like the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, other parts of the Western Europe, you know, to have a better opportunities with those qualifications they have to get a good job, which they can cater for themselves and for their family.
I understand that completely, but we've got lots of English people here coming out of university that aren't finding jobs. So my advice would be, do not come unless you have a guaranteed job here. Don't just come and expect to find work to get it
so easily.
It just, no, it won't happen, really. Well, nothing's impossible. I believe nothing's impossible. But it's not easy like you would think. It's just not easy. So, and if I lived in Africa, I'd make sure I had a lot of money in the bank behind me, so that when you arrived in the UK, you've got money in your bank to pay.
Okay.
To have a job before you arrive here, make sure that you've got a job and it's guaranteed, and don't just arrive with a suitcase hoping that you'll find work. Not like,
but some other persons would have to put into the education and then come here to attend school, and then when they're through the school, they can have a better chances of getting a good job.
I mean, you have to come to study, but again, they have to have accommodation, and not all accommodation, because that's what I deal with in my job at work. The houses are thick. Some of the houses, the rental houses, have got really bad mould and damp. Not all landlords, I'm not saying all landlords, but there's quite a few landlords that just don't take care. They take the money, but they don't look after the homes.
That's bad.
So it's really bad. And to see, I've been into houses and seen even people from the UK, from England, what they're living in is terrible. The children are sick with asthma because of the mould, the spores. So I see life from a very different angle to what I see the real life. So I'm probably maybe a bit more, I don't know, I'm not a negative person. But
okay, that's been a nice one from our friend of the show. Her name is Diana Brea. She is a very experienced person. She has been in Europe, she's been in the United Kingdom here, born here, grew up here, she went to school here, and of course she's working now in school where she is a parent advisor. Yeah, right?
Yes, that's right.
So she is an educationist, of course, a counselor. What do you think? So she has given us a picture we have now in the United Kingdom. Like some persons would think that it's all roses here in England. When they come, they just start picking pounds on the ground, or they will plant the trees of pounds.
That would be
and
nice.
They start plucking it from the trees. You know?
I'd like one in my back garden.
So it's quite funny where some person will just like, they don't want to work, they don't want to go to school. They have this impression that, oh, I'm relocating, I want to leave Nigeria, I want to leave Ghana, I want to leave Gambia, I want to leave Somalia, I want to leave every other place they are in African countries, and they think crossing over to the Western countries is a better option for them to have a better opportunities where they can cater for themselves.
I understand completely.
But we have to be equipped with having a good education, having a good skill, that wherever you find yourself in any environment, you can excel because you've got the skills, right?
Yeah, education is key. Everybody needs a good education.
Yeah.
It's changed. Years ago, there were so many jobs. You could find a job without a degree, without any qualifications. But now, it's just different. Everybody needs to have the education behind them.
That's true, but that reminds me, well, with the present Brexit recently in England, is there anyone affecting residents in this place? Anyone that's here affected by Brexit and wish to go back to their various homes?
Yeah, quite a few. A lot of the Eastern European families, it's affected them quite badly, and we've had quite a few Eastern European families go back home. Because some of them had homes already back in Eastern Europe, and they said their homes are better back in their countries than they are here, because our houses are, you know, the houses that are being built now are so small,
tiny. Yeah, so small houses built in England.
Yeah, and children are living in tiny little rooms. There's just no room. Because we're needing more and more houses, but there's not enough land, so the houses are getting smaller and smaller.
That's true, that's true. So you mean with the current Brexit in the UK, some European residents, they're going back to their various homes.
We've had quite a few
and they prefer their homes, which they say is better off than the England.
Yeah, I think for the well-being, for the way of life. It's a hard culture here in England.
But you have a lot of Asian people here.
Yeah,
as I see.
Yeah, I have a lot of Asian people in school that come here. Again, I don't know how they have a lot of their families living with them. I'm not quite sure how they manage in such small houses, really. But it's very hard, because if you come like from your country, Nigeria and Ghana, I've been to Ghana, I've experienced life, people on the streets, on the floor, waiting, that there's no health care, they're waiting for somebody just to pick them up. I've been to the hospitals, some of the hospitals in Ghana, and it's shocking, it's terrible. So I can understand everyone that lives in one of these that would like to come.
Of course, yeah.
I understand completely. But you can never say never, but just be prepared and make sure you have everything planned and money in the bank. Definitely.
You're emphasizing money in the bank.
Everything is money.
Everything is money.
And even for me now, you know, it's very different.
Okay, that's true. All right. Do you have any friend in Ghana or in other African parts of the country?
We have a school. We have a school in Ghana. We had a link. Not so much now, because the head teacher has left now. So the new head teacher's not really followed it. But we still get photos and pictures from the children from Beam, or I do, yeah. I can show you some of the photos. They're lovely.
That's nice.
And
okay.
Started with nothing.
Do you ever wish or think that any of your children will relocate from England to other parts of the country?
No.
Because you wanted to be together with the family. Maybe your children, any of your children may have a good job outside England.
Yeah.
And they'll see that country is better than where they are here in England, so they can move on.
I think my eldest son, he would leave England if he could. Well, he has. He lived in Dubai for 15 years. He lived in Singapore. He lived in Slovenia. He had a good job. He worked hard. He got his degree.
Wow.
And he had a very responsible job in Dubai.
That's good.
And
interesting.
But although he had a lot of pressure and a lot of hard work, the way of life was so much better.
Wow.
You had the sunshine, which makes him he hates this. He hates England because of the bad weather, because of the constant grey, like grey skies and rain and cloud. It's quite a depressing.
Yeah.
Although last summer wasn't too bad, but if he could, he would go and leave this country. My son wouldn't stay.
That's good to know,
Yeah.
that someone born here in England would like to
He would leave tomorrow if he could, but he's got his children into secondary school now, and then they'll be going to university. So he doesn't want to take them out of that now and disrupt them.
You see, that's the irony here. Someone born in England who wants to leave to other country, while those that are not born in England, they want to come to England.
The grass, they say, the grass is always greener. The grass is always greener.
That's life.
I've lived too in Italy, and I've lived in Spain.
That's good to know.
The taxes, oh dear me, goodness me. I think in Italy the taxes are shocking. So many taxes for different things. So
more than what you have here in England?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Italy's a fantastic. It's probably, I'm thinking, oh, I'd love to live in Italy, but actually, you know, it's not. It's not what you think, and it's very expensive in Italy and Spain now. The prices have increased. And then again, if you come, I know you speak English, but for a lot of the people that come over to our country, if you cannot speak English, it's an impossible. It's
going to be very, very
so
difficult. The mode of communication, of course, will affect the person.
It does affect you, because when I lived in Spain and I lived in Italy, I
you
couldn't.
have to learn to speak Italy.
I speak a little bit of
Spanish.
Italian, not Spanish. I speak a little bit of Italian, but even just to go and speak to the, we had to sign to get the doctors and the house. But if you couldn't speak Italian, it was impossible. And I used to go home crying because it was
you can't
so
communicate.
Difficult. You can't.
No one can hear you.
And I used to go to the gym, and that was okay. But then everyone was laughing. But you miss out on humour. When you cannot speak the language, you miss. It is so hard. And then when I lived abroad, all my family were living in the UK, and that was really hard for me because all my grandchildren, my children, they were here, and for me family is very important. So, and I know the families that I work with, they miss their families so much, and some of them don't have the money now to go back home because they cannot afford it. So you might, you know, it's like you rob Peter to pay Paul. Some things are lovely, better, but then you haven't got the family support.
Yeah, that's bad.
So there's always a price to pay.
Now we've heard so much from Diana Brown. She is an educationist. She has lectured us this afternoon on how life is generally here in England. You heard so much from her. You need to have a skill, you need to be educated, you need to equip yourself. So wherever you relocate, whatever you intend to relocate to, whether in England, whether it's USA, whether it's Australia, whether it's Italy, Spain, or whatever country you intend to go, with this qualification of yours, with these skills you've gotten, it will be easy to make life better, sweet for you. But when you got no education, you got no skills, sorry, you're going to live struggling and having a tough life all the rest of your life. Have a good skill and be educated. I wish you all the best. So from Diana, what do you have to tell your friends?
Bye bye everyone, and wishing you all a very happy new year, and I hope you all have what you're dreaming for.
Amen. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Rosalind.
Watching. If you know you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and share. Thank you.